Hello everyone. Welcome to Magical Stocks channel, where fundamentals meet technical. PSE index went down from 6,907.79 last June 11, 2021, to 6,851.38 this June 18, 2021. This performance is equivalent to a minus 0.82% decrease in the index for the week. However, our magical stocks went up from 500.27k pesos to 501.23k pesos, or a 0.19% increase in our investment. Overall, our magical stocks profit went up from 49.17k pesos to 50.12k pesos. We will update the 3 batches of magical stocks together with the 5 experimental magical stocks for this week's video. Before we proceed with our update, and if you are interested in investing using our magical stocks or monitoring our system's effectiveness, please like this channel, subscribe and hit the notification button to keep you updated weekly. Let's first discuss the November experimental magical stocks performance from June 11, 2021, to June 18, 2021. Here is our worksheet for our November experimental stocks. Our top performer is DMC gaining 11.89%. While the least performer is MEG losing minus 21.27%. We have one sell signal in our 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the trend which we started to monitor last November 20, 2020. The PSE index went down from minus 3.65% to minus 4.44%, losing minus 0.79%. However, the experimental magical stocks went up from minus 1.75% to minus 1.73%, gaining 0.03%. The experiment is below the benchmark line, while the index is also below the benchmark line. Our experiment is above the index with a gap of 2.72% this June 18, 2021, coming from 1.9% last June 11, 2021. Let's now discuss the December experimental magical stocks performance from June 11, 2021, to June 18, 2021. Here is our worksheet for our December experimental stocks. Our top performer is FGen gaining 7.8%, while the least performer is TEL losing minus 8.02%. We still don't have any sell signal for each of the 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the experiment's trend, which we compare against the PSE index starting December 18, 2020. The PSE index went down from minus 5.02% to minus 5.79%, losing minus 0.78%. The experimental magical stocks also went down from minus 2.05% to minus 2.39%, losing minus 0.34%. The experiment is below the benchmark line, while the index is also below the benchmark line. Our experiment is above the index with a gap of 3.4% this June 18, 2021, coming from 2.97% last June 11, 2021. Let's now discuss the February experimental magical stocks performance from June 11, 2021, to June 18, 2021. Here is our worksheet for our February experimental stocks. Our top performer is SCC gaining 10.09%, while the least performer is VLL losing minus 11.11%. We still don't have any sell signal for each of the 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the experiment's trend, which we compare against the PSE index starting February 19, 2021. The PSE index went down from minus 0.27% to minus 1.08%, losing minus 0.81%. The experimental magical stocks, however, went up from minus 3.23% to minus 1.86%, gaining 1.36%. The experiment is below the benchmark line, while the index is also below the benchmark line. Our experiment is below the index with a gap of minus 0.78% this June 18, 2021, coming from minus 2.96% last June 11, 2021. Let's now discuss the March experimental magical stocks performance from June 11, 2021, to June 18, 2021. Here is our worksheet for our March experimental stocks. Our top performer is DMC gaining 24.2%, while the least performer is FGen but gaining 3.05%. We still don't have any sell signal for each of the 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the experiment's trend, which we compare against the PSE index starting March 19, 2021. The PSE index went down from 7.33% to 6.45%, losing -0.88%. However, the experimental magical stocks went up from 10.97% to 11.18%, gaining 0.22%. The experiment is above the benchmark line, while the index is also above the benchmark line. Our experiment is above the index with a gap of 4.73% this June 18, 2021, coming from 3.64% last June 11, 2021. Let's now discuss the May experimental magical stocks performance from June 11, 2021, to June 18, 2021. Here is our worksheet for our May experimental stocks. Our top performer is AEV gaining 22.3%, while the least performer is TEL losing -1.64%. We still don't have any sell signal for each of the 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the experiment's trend, which we compare against the PSE index starting May 21, 2021. The PSE index went down from 11.43% to 10.52%, losing -0.91%. The experimental magical stocks also went down from 11.29% to 9.74%, losing -1.56%. The experiment is above the benchmark line, while the index is also above the benchmark line. Our experiment is below the index with a gap of -0.78% this June 18, 2021, coming from -0.13% last June 11, 2021. Here is the worksheet for our 3 batches of magical stocks. Our top performer is P Gold gaining 4.6%, while the least performer is TEL losing -3.74%. We still don't have any sell signal for our magical stocks. Our first batch is above the market with a gap of 22.05% this June 18, 2021, coming from 19.92% last June 11, 2021. Our second batch is above the market with a gap of 0.83% this June 18, 2021, coming from 0.16% last June 11, 2021. Our third batch is below the market with a gap of -6.06% this June 18, 2021, coming from -6.56% last June 11, 2021. To summarize our investment, the first batch of magical stocks is gaining by 37.43%, coming from 36.25%. The second batch is losing by -4.06%, coming from -3.94%. The third batch is gaining by 0.73%, coming from 1.12%. Overall, with an investment of 451.11k pesos, our investment's current value is 501.23k pesos, equivalent to 11.11% coming from 10.9%. We have a gaining first batch, a losing second batch, and a gaining third batch. That will be all for the magical stocks update this week. Thank you for watching. Next week, we will continue updating the 3 batches of magical stocks and the 5 experimental stocks, plus the recently screened June experiment. Quote, I just wait until there is money lying in the corner, and all I have to do is go over there and pick it up. I do nothing in the meantime. Unquote. Jim Rogers. See you in the following video. Have a great day ahead.